When's the last time you were properly excited about something? Something you were looking forward to so much that you just caught yourself thinking about it during the day for absolutely no reason in the middle of doing something else. Most people I ask try to answer that and come up with nothing. And that blank space is exactly what I want to talk about because I had it too. Just sit in that blank for a second. You're probably not sad. You're definitely not in a crisis. You just don't have anything coming. If somebody asked you what you're looking forward to this month, you'd have no answer. Not a bad answer, just a total blank. There is nothing with a date on it. There is nothing sitting out there in front of you at all. And I figured out a couple of months ago that this entirely on its own is enough to make a completely fine life feel gray. It's the kind of thing nobody ever checks on because from the outside, it doesn't look like a problem. Nothing is actively wrong. You go to your lectures, you clock in for your shift, you talk to your mates, but your days have started blurring together and you can't quite put your finger on why. It's just because there's nothing ahead. Think about how things worked when we were kids. Everything we did had a weight built into it. If you were watching a show, you got one episode a week, and you would literally spend the next 6 days thinking about what was going to happen. If you wanted something new, you had to save up for it for 3 months. You started counting down to the summer holidays in March. If your birthday was in July, you started thinking about it in April. And here's the thing I only just realized. The waiting was doing most of the work. You were getting weeks of actual enjoyment out of something before you even had it. The thing itself was almost just a bonus at the end. Now, nothing has a wait. Everything is available the exact second you think you want it. You want to watch a show? You sit in bed and clear the whole thing in a night. You want a thing? You order it the day you think of it. None of it gets anticipated, so it arrives. And it's fine and it's over and you feel almost nothing because there was no run-up. You didn't lose the ability to enjoy things. You just lost the gap before them. So you have to start putting that gap back in yourself. You have to manufacture it. The absolute easiest way to do this is to put one thing on an actual date about 2 weeks out. I don't mean saying we should hang out in a group chat, because we all know that means nothing. I mean, picking a day, putting it in the calendar, and agreeing on it with someone. The trick here is that you're not doing it for the day itself. You are doing it for the 2 weeks leading up to it. That's where all the value is. When you're sitting on a boring shift or walking home in the rain, you get to think about the fact that next Friday is sorted. But one random plan isn't enough on its own. You also need something that just happens every single week. Same day, same time, completely non-negotiable. It could be a Tuesday game night, playing football, or just a scheduled call with someone who moved away. You need this because it gives the week a shape. Right now, every day is the exact same shape as the one before it, which is exactly why they all blur into one long block. Having something in the calendar only works if you don't ruin it before it gets here though. You have to stop pre-consuming the things you're waiting for. When a game or a movie is coming out, the instinct is to watch every single trailer, read the leaks on Reddit, and find out everything about it. Don't. You're spending all your anticipation early, and then you sit there on release day wondering why the actual thing felt completely flat, which leads into something that is honestly the hardest one to actually do. You need to ration the stuff you like. If you find a show that's gripping, watch 1 episode instead of 8. Do not finish it tonight. It feels terrible at first, I know. You are deliberately choosing to want something for longer. But waking up the next day knowing you have an episode waiting for you that evening changes the whole texture of the day. And for any of this to work, that anticipation actually needs somewhere to live in your head, which means you have to stop filling every single empty second of your life. When you're waiting for the kettle to boil, or you're standing in a lift for 10 seconds, or you're walking 5 minutes to the shop, just let it be empty. If there is never a gap in your input, there is never a random moment where you suddenly remember the thing that's coming up. And that random spike of remembering was always most of the enjoyment anyway. If you want to take it a step further, start doing one thing that has a painfully slow payoff. Something where you know for a fact you won't be any good at it for months. Pick up an instrument, start learning a language, or start a messy build project. The delay isn't a downside here. The delay is the entire point. It puts something permanently out in front of you to chip away at. Everyone is always talking about being present, and it's not wrong exactly, but almost nobody mentions that a massive chunk of what makes life actually feel good is the part before the thing happens. The best week of a holiday is usually the week right before you go. The best part of Friday is Thursday night. Being present is what you do with today. But having something coming is what makes today feel like it's actually going somewhere. You kind of need both, and right now, only one of them gets talked about. I do want to say one thing though. If you've been feeling like this for months, if absolutely nothing lands, and you've stopped enjoying the things you genuinely used to like, that is a different thing entirely. That is not a scheduling issue, and putting a coffee date in a calendar won't touch it. It's not a failure of willpower. It just means you need a different kind of help from an actual professional, not something to sort out alone in your room at 2 a.m. with a video. But if you're just stuck in the blur, lower the bar hard. You don't need a perfectly optimized, completely better life. You don't need a 5-year plan. You just need something on Saturday.sext one person tonight. Put one thing on an actual date. That's it. That's the whole video. Anywhere. If this was useful, subscribe or leave a like. Takes a second, helps more than you think, and tell me the one thing you've actually got coming, even if it's small, especially if it's small. I read all of them. Good night.